The Diggers Movement and Gerrard Winstanley. The Diggers Movement. The Diggers Movement was a radical social movement that emerged in 1649 in England, led by Gerrard Winstanley. The Diggers were a group of land reformers who challenged the existing system of private land ownership, which they believed led to extreme social and economic inequality. Their central belief was that the earth was a common treasury for all and should not be monopolized by a wealthy elite. Instead, they advocated for communal ownership of land, where the land would be worked collectively for the benefit of all. The Diggers were inspired by the aftermath of the English Civil War, 1642 to 1651, which had overthrown the monarchy and briefly established a commonwealth. However, the social and economic structures that favored the rich landowning class remained intact. Winstanley and the Diggers sought to address this by creating a society where the poor would have access to land and resources, ensuring economic equality and shared labor. In April 1649, the Diggers famously began cultivating land at St. George's Hill in Surrey, hoping to create a self-sustaining, egalitarian community. They called for an end to private land ownership, which they saw as the root of all social injustice. However, the movement was met with violent resistance from local landowners and government forces. The Diggers' crops were destroyed, and their members were harassed and beaten. Despite their commitment to non-violence, the Diggers were forced off the land after only 2 years of struggle. Gerrard Winstanley. Gerrard Winstanley, 1609 to 1676, was the ideological leader of the Diggers and an important figure in 17th-century English political thought. He was a visionary and religious reformer who believed that social inequality contradicted the teachings of Christianity. Winstanley argued that God's creation, including the land, should be shared equally among all people, and that the social hierarchies of landlords and rulers were artificial constructs designed to oppress the poor. Winstanley's most significant contribution was his extensive writing on communal land ownership and egalitarianism. He saw the Diggers' cause as not only political but also spiritual. In his writings, such as The New Law of Righteousness, 1649, and The Law of Freedom in a Platform, 1652, Winstanley outlined his vision for a society based on equality, cooperation, and shared labor. He believed that true freedom could only be achieved through the elimination of private property and the establishment of a commonwealth where everyone had access to land and resources. Although the Diggers movement was short-lived, Winstanley's ideas have had a lasting influence on later social movements, including socialism and anarchism. His call for social justice, economic equality, and communal living resonates even today in discussions about land reform, wealth inequality, and the need for a more equitable society. Winstanley's writings remain an important part of the radical political tradition, inspiring movements that challenge oppression and inequality.